So now that we got a little bit of background on the technologies we're going to use, we're going to check them out and take a look at how to get them started. And then we're actually going to build our first React application right now in this video. So now you can see I'm at reactjs.org. This is an open source React library. And like I said before, this is created by Facebook. And so they have some great documentation in this, and we're going to always basically keep this open to reference back and forth. And then we're going to use some of the libraries itself on GitHub. So everything on GitHub is open source, and we're going to leverage that open source. All those developers working on these frameworks, making them better, we could leverage that for our own use. And so the first one we're going to use is React Create an App. So this is just basically a quick way to get up and running with React. Since it is just a library, you need Node as the server to get running. You need to hook that up with React on the front end, and then any other modules that you need to get set up. React Create an App actually does that for us, so that we get straight into just code. We have to worry about like setting everything up, which is sometimes a pain in the ass, but React Create an App makes it super simple. As you can see, it has a ton of stars, 61,000 stars. That doesn't really mean anything really, but it doesn't mean that people are actually looking at it, they're using it. And from what I've noticed, like I said before, there's a ton of jobs actually using React every day. Another we're going to use is React Native. So React Native is the mobile version of React. It just leverages React's code and then kind of translates that to native modules within either the iPhone or Android. And you can see it's very popular, even more, 72,000 stars. And then the actual framework itself this is just plain React. This is not anything of, if you want just the plain library, this is it right here. And it's very similar, like I said, it's very similar to Angular or Vue. Speaking of which, Vue is very competitive. It's completely unrelated, but if you've ever used Vue before, and would like to argue its merits against React, I would love to know why it has 123,000 stars and it has more than React, basically. From what I've noticed in the job market, if you were to find all the Vue jobs and all the jobs related to React, I think more than 75% of them would be React, and there's not a ton using Vue. There's a ton of huge companies using React, which is why I'm confident using that for our project. Not only does Facebook use it in their Messenger app, but also their Marketplace app is completely built on React and React Native. Instagram itself, not our Instagram app, Instagram itself used React. Recently they transferred over to native development, and I'm going to go through that a little bit later as to why they did that. But to show you that we can build the whole thing in React Native. It's not anything wrong with the technology itself. It was kind of a business decision from their end. And so these are the technologies we're going to use. React is the main one, and then other things are built on top of that. At the bottom layer is React. React Create an App is built on top of React, and then React Native is built on top of React, and then even further abstracted, Expo, which means we don't have to work with Xcode, the native IDE for iOS, which is a pain to get set up. So we're going to leverage another technology, so that kind of is all up and running for us, and like once again, we could focus on just the code. Expo is kind of like the Create React app for mobile development, so it's really quick to get up and running, and there's a lot of native modules already set up and running smoothly, which is awesome. And then the last one we're going to use is Firebase. Like I said, Firebase is just our database. I already have a database set up for us. You could do authentication. This will handle all the authentication. It'll also handle the database, and you can see we already have a structure in place of our activity, which is the likes, messages, comments, and so on. Our messages to individuals, each post, and then the users has their own table as well. And then the last one in Firebase is storage. So you can see all these files with the random numbers are photos that have been uploaded into the application itself. As you can see, there's some test photos of myself. And so we're going to leverage all these technologies, which is free to set up to get started. And so in order to get started, we're going to start with a actual web application. So I want to show you how you can use some of the same code for web as you can for iOS, as you can for Android, which is awesome. And especially as one developer, you get so much more done versus before React and React Native, you would have to have a web developer, you would have to have an iOS developer, you would have to have a Java developer, and now you could kind of do the job of 3 people, which is kind of still blows my mind, honestly. So now if we go to the create a React app, it's super simple to get started. As you can see, there's 3 commands: npx create React app, and then the name of your app, my app. And so we're just going to go and get started with this. If we open up our terminal, I have a folder just called code, just for projects like this. And then we're going to copy and paste that line of code. So npx create React app. That's the command line knows to create this app. And then we're going to name it whatever we want. Let's just call it React app. And that'll go in and get everything set up on its own and create a repo for us to get started coding. And then once we're done, we're going to cd into our name of our app. So we didn't call it my app, we created a React app. So we're going to cd into React-app and then npm start. So right now you can see it's still getting set up. So here we go. Here's the commands itself. So we're going to cd React-app, and then we can do yarn start, we can do npm start, or we can do npx start. This is kind of all the same exact thing. I would honestly stick with npm start because that's what we're going to use for React Native and Expo. So it's just good to there's no right or wrong, but just be consistent. And not switch back and forth between yarn or npm or npx. So we're going to do npm start, and then this will start our server and open up our application for us. So you can see this is very simple, just a logo and then a link to the documentation that we were just at. And so if we want to check out the code itself, we're just going to open up a new tab, and we're going to, I'm using Sublime, so I have this command already set up to open up files in my terminal. So we have a few folders here. We have node modules, which is, I wouldn't worry about that one. That's what npm install does. It installs these modules based on the modules in our package.json. So if you were to remove this whole folder and delete it, you could just add it back by doing npm install, and then it'll take up all these dependencies and install new node modules based on those dependencies. And then you can see some of the scripts we have. We have npm start. So when we do npm start, that's basically just running React-scripts start, which is a module that is specific to the React Create app. Just makes it super simple to get up and running pretty quickly. Public is just the file, our HTML. So if you've done HTML, if you've done any web development before, this is very familiar. This is just an HTML document. Here's our head. Here's the title of our app. This is our app. I can't spell. And the cool thing is that there's hot reloading, and as you can see, the title of our documentation, our website, updated already without having to do anything. So if we revert back and then save it,